Welcome to Breakdown, JJ. First Monday in November 2026. JJ, true or false? Patience is a virtue.
I do believe that's what it says.
So, how virtuous are the fans and athletic directors of SEC football teams?
Man, that's a good question. We're halfway through the season, and a quarter of them are in the market for new coaches.
Another one bit the dust over the weekend. And who's the most recent one?
The golf extraordinaire Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze.
He had a tee time for Sunday for Auburn's you know university golf course, and they told him they canceled that tee time and told him that his services will no longer be needed.
Is that fair?
I do believe that is fair. I do believe.
JJ,
Yeah.
we talked about the madness, but it's not madness. It's sanity because everybody is doing it. Uh, Auburn justified in firing Hugh Freeze.
I mean, you look at his record, you look at what he was brought in to do. You tell me, has he done it?
How long has it been there?
It's year four.
This is year four, man. I guess he hasn't. JJ, all these coaches that are getting fired, would they have been better off to have just stayed where they were instead of coming to the SEC?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. Um, I think you can't like look back in time. But I think Brian Kelly, one of the things that he has the ability to do at Notre Dame that he can't really do in the SEC is he can kind of control like half of his schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play USC, you got to play like the military academies, which shouldn't be a threat to you. Um, you got to play Purdue or Indiana or whatever. But other than USC, you can really control your destiny in a lot of ways at Notre Dame in ways that you can't do. I mean, they have that partnership with the ACC, so they play a portion of their games to the ACC as well. So I guess that part of their schedule they don't control. But I would absolutely say Brian Kelly would have been in a better situation had he stayed at Notre Dame than had he went at
So
LSU.
so many coaches coming and going in the SEC. They're going to be hiring a minimum of four new coaches pretty soon, getting ready to fill those vacancies. If you which one of those vacancies we got Arkansas, LSU, Florida, and Auburn vacant? Which one of those vacancies would you stay away from and why?
Whew, that's a good question. I mean, I think it depends on a lot. It depends on what you want, honestly. Um, the best of those jobs, quote unquote, I think is LSU. But the way that I'm wired, I probably would want to stay away from a job that has meddling to the degree that the governor is openly, on one hand he's talking about building statues for controversial political figures. On the other hand, he's talking about how the AD is, gonna have his power usurped, and I think that's a level of meddling. I think is pretty unprecedented. I think if there were anything close to comparable jobs, I would look that way. Florida's a job that has proven that you can win championships at that school. But only two people have.
Okay, you can win them at Florida. You can win them at Auburn. You can win them at LSU.
Yeah,
Uh,
Auburn might have been a little bit more of a unique situation. That might have been a Cam Newton thing.
well, Auburn went undefeated a few years ago. Well, more than a few years ago, when they didn't even been 13-0, and
Jason Campbell, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
Cadillac, Ronnie Brown,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I, I think just because they haven't done it, all of them I think are capable of doing it. The one job that I would stay away from personally, LSU. And you talked about how great it is because the way they build that fence around that state. But even so, I think it may be too much given, like you said, the governor's involvement. I don't know, man. I don't think I would leave Notre Dame today and go to LSU.
I wouldn't. I mean, Brian Kelly, he in his entire duration at LSU, he didn't lose to a team that wasn't ranked in the top 10 at the time. Every single game that he lost to was to a team that was ranked in the top 10. But that's life in the SEC. You will see teams ranked in the top 10, and then you have to win those games.
JJ, LSU went after Lanning in Oregon, and supposedly he told him no. Uh,
Yeah.
who? Man, I'm trying to figure out who would want to come. Who's out there that would come to LSU? Would LSU go after Franklin?
Absolutely not. I don't think so. I mean,
That's
Franklin,
not- I
Franklin
don't
got
think so.
fired. I don't think they're going to go after a coach that just got fired.
Okay.
Oregon, if Dan Lanning wins a championship there, they'll build a statue for him. They have never won a championship. And right now they have as much money as any other school because the one thing Phil Knight said he wanted to see happen before he passed was a championship. So he can afford to, I mean, all these guys have millions, some, billions of dollars, but if Phil Knight's throwing billions at it, Oregon can compete with the best of them. So if I'm Dan Lanning, why would I leave?
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out who LSU can go and get because I don't really know a big name. Maybe they can pull.
No, I don't think
Signet.
Signetti.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
No, not him specifically,
Oh,
but
like,
someone
someone-
him.
See, they're gonna want a big name. They have a bit of an ego, and their boosters are gonna want to make sure that that's stroked. Unfortunately, if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm not leaving. After looking at the circus that you see behind the curtain, they're pulling it back and revealing it to you. I'm not entering that situation. I think he's gonna make sure that he's gonna have the most recent sources any coach at Ole Miss has ever had, and he's going to, do his best to do the same thing that Dan Lanning is doing at Oregon.
Yeah. Tough.
There's less pressure there. There's no one to compare Lane Kiffin to.
True.
There's no one really.
That's true.
At this point, Dan Lanning has gotten almost as high as anyone at Oregon has been able to take him.
So Dan Lanning and Lane Kiffin are in the same category.
Yeah, LSU.
Neither one of them are leaving their school.
You're getting compared to Coach O. You're getting compared to Les Miles, and of course, you're getting compared to Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, who wants that pressure? Who needs that pressure?
Man.
I mean, they should be the best job. It has the most resources per capita. LSU has so much, NFL talent. I mean, the state of Louisiana has so much NFL talent surrounding them. You would think, but they have some issues as they are openly letting the country
world.
know. Yeah, the world know.
Jason, how good is the Auburn job?
That's a really tough
The last
question.
three has been fired. The last three coaches.
The last three coaches has been fired.
Maybe even going back for that. I just
When Gene Chizik won the championship with Cam Newton, I don't think anyone thought it was his defensive acumen or his genius or anything that got him there. I think everyone pretty much put it on Cam. And 20 years ago with Jason Campbell and those running backs,
Gus Malzahn got him to the championship game.
Gus Malzahn did get him to the championship game with that defensive back turned quarterback, Nick Marshall. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I do think there's a lot of potential at Auburn. I think they have a lot of money.
Their recruiting was killing it.
Absolutely, they're they're closer to Atlanta than the University of Georgia is. So yeah, like they have the investment. They have the resources. They have the investment. I think it's a good job.
Let me ask you a question.
But I think it's the second best job in the state. And I think it's the third best job in its region.
And the first one being Alabama.
In Georgia being the other one. I mean, they're in the same region as.
JJ, between Arkansas, LSU, Florida, and Auburn, who fired their coach, which one is going to regret it the most 2 years from now? Look at your crystal ball.
That's a good question. Regret it.
We might need to wait until they actually get a replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be easiest. I don't think you're gonna regret firing Hugh Freeze. I do think Brian Kelly's a good coach, but just reading behind the scenes, I do not think that was a fit. I think that they shouldn't have hired him. So I don't think they're gonna regret firing him. Billy Napier, I just think he's not good at his job. Honestly,
Florida lost some close games.
They did lose some close games, and a lot of that was because of his doing. It was a lot of inept coaching, a lot of poor poor game management, poor clock management, just bad play calling, and he insisted on calling the plays. So I just feel like he was just not good. I just don't. Who was the other one? Sam Pittman, Arkansas. I guess. I mean, I could see the Arkansas hiring someone worse than Sam Pittman. I saw him do it with
Don't
Chad
say
Morris.
that. Don't say that.
But I mean, I truly think he was at least as good as a coach as Billy Napier was. I really thought Billy Napier did a very bad job. I would say he did the worst job of the last four coaches at Florida got fired. I'd say he's the worst of all of them.
Okay.
Jim McElwain, I put above him. Obviously Dan Mullen, I put above him. Will the guy that went to South Carolina after, what's his name? Will Muschamp. Yeah, I think he did better.
Let me just say the teams that are replacing the coaches, the competition. They still got the competition. Auburn's still going to compete with Alabama, LSU, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida. If you are a coach coming in, you're going to take a whole lot of money to get you to agree to something like that, I would think.
I would think so. I mean, back in the old days, it would have been no brainer. You're the head coach at the University of Missouri. If Auburn comes along, you used to be an assistant coach at Auburn. You already know it there. You take that job 10 times out of 10. Nowadays, if you're Eli Drinkwitz, would you take that job?
That was my next question was going to be. I think I would leave Missouri if I was Drinkwitz.
Now, okay, so
I mean,
you think
Florida,
you would leave Missouri?
Florida would be an option. I think I would go. I may go to Florida. Even I would not go to LSU, but
what pressure is there to leave Missouri? When's the last time Missouri has been like?
I don't know. Will Missouri, if you're getting 10 million here and you're going to get 11 million there, but you go for another million.
I mean, not if you get put from the safe, relaxing, whatever.
SEC is never safe and relaxing.
But you get put into the frying pan.
Okay. If Diego Pavia is not allowed to play college football for the next decade, and you're the coach of Vandy, would you leave?
Yeah, Vandy. I mean, I would see. The thing about them being a private institution is I don't know what their resources are like, or what their commitment is. In previous iterations of Vandy, absolutely, I would leave. They have shown, they have shown nothing close to a commitment to their sports. But I mean, if they have the boosters, if they have that type of investment, I think you're in a comfortable enough city, you're in a comfortable enough situation. You don't have to win the SEC every year. I mean, if you can get them in the playoff discussion on a annual basis or semi-annual basis, that should be good enough at Vandy.
Okay, so JJ, based on you, we got Lane Kiffin stand, Ed Drinkowitz stand,
Eli
Drinkwitz, yeah. No movement among no dominoes falling in the SEC after these changes.
I think some dominoes might fall, but
in the SEC.
I just think that they might not come from the SEC.
Okay, but none in the SEC is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean, I think the coaches that they would want to target are too comfortable where they're at.
Okay. Let's go to the Big Ten, JJ.
Okay.
Talk to me about Wisconsin, their head coaching situation.
I mean, he's not good. He's in his third year. He's not good, but...
So, what are the odds that he will be there next year?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Wisconsin's financial situation is. I think they're gonna have to hire a new athletic director as well. I think Barry Switzer is gonna be on the way out.
Barry Switzer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alvarez.
Alvarez. Sorry, I conflated my berries. Whatever.
Understood.
I was thinking about Oklahoma. Barry Alvarez.
That's
I think
interesting. You think he's going to leave?
Yeah, I mean he's made the last couple of hires. They haven't been successful.
They've lost 6 in a row, JJ.
Yeah, they've lost 6 in a row, and they haven't looked good doing it. I mean, he was an offensive.
in their last 6 games, one time they've scored 14 points. Two other times they scored 10, and after that, 7-0-0. So,
Yeah.
I mean, their offense is like so. He's going to be leaving most likely Wisconsin. Talk to me about Michigan State. School that's dear to my heart, in addition to Arkansas.
Yeah, their coach, they almost got a win.
They've lost 6 in a row.
They have lost 6 in a row. They've lost every Big Ten game that they've played. But
Played overtime against Minnesota.
in Minneapolis, they almost pulled that one off, but they were not able to close the deal. Yeah, he's only in his second year. I would anticipate him, if he's able to squeeze out a win, he would need to win a game, I think, to feel any type of security. But I mean, if he can win a conference game, I think just with the atmosphere and the landscape of the college coaching world currently, I don't know. I'm not sure like what if they want to allocate all of that money to. I mean, I think they're still fighting Mel Tucker, having to pay Mel Tucker's buyout. I think there's still like a lawsuit regarding Mel Tucker's firing and everything like that. Not just with Mel Tucker, but with the woman involved. And I'm not sure what their financial situation is when it comes to having to pay multiple buyouts or whatever. So I think that he'd get a year 3, but I think he needs to win.
Michigan State has 3 games left. They off this coming week, and then they have Penn State, Iowa, and they close it out with Maryland.
Yeah.
Will they get a win out of those 3 teams?
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they'd be able to beat Penn State. Penn State doesn't have a lot to play for.
Penn State has lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's playing for the transfer portal. Everyone's playing for good tape. Everyone still wants to go to the NFL, so they're gonna come out. They're gonna have pride too. They have scholarships too. They get paid too. So I think Michigan State will be favored. I think they will be the underdog in each of their last 3 games, but they're gonna have to play a lot more dynamic on offense as well. I mean, they benched their starting quarterback Aiden Childs for the redshirt freshman whose name I'll just say number 11. Yeah. They benched Aiden Childs for number 11.
So that make me think that the coach knows Childs won't be there next year.
Yeah, I don't think Childs will be there.
JJ. Michigan State, their last game of the season is going to be at Ford Field in Detroit against Maryland. If they are winless by then, the few people who show up to Ford Field will be saying the same thing that the Auburn people said after Auburn's loss this week. After Auburn lost, 10-3 to Kentucky, the fans were shouting, "Fire, freeze!"
Yeah.
So they pretty much had no option. If Jonathan Smith goes to season winless in the Big Ten, the last game of the season, the fans are going to be shouting because he's kind of losing the fans already, JJ.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, fan pressure is more palpable than it's ever been. Donor pressure is stronger than it's ever been.
True.
And now in situations like LSU, you got political pressure that's more visible than it's ever been. So it's just a pressure.
I'm going to say something that I thought I would never say, JJ.
What?
Given all these things that are going on with coaches, you think they may be underpaid?
No, not even close. Especially you see this in the economy. No, not even close.
Okay.
They are not even close to underpaid. They are. I'd say they're so overpaid. But you know what? Them's the breaks.
JJ, we mentioned head coach has been fired. South Carolina fired their offensive coordinator, Mike Shula.
Yeah.
Deservedly so?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the way South Carolina's offense has looked this year, and you knew that there's going to be a setback. There was some attrition, but they have looked terrible, just terrible. They can't run the ball at all.
That's for sure.
They lost some linemen. They lost Rocky Sanders, but they shouldn't look like the way that they look now.
Their offense just hadn't put anything together.
They've wasted a year where Lenore Sanders was he entered the season as a top Heisman candidate and a potential draft pick and all of that, and he has not looked good at all. Like it has been it's been a very bad year.
He was offered millions to leave South Carolina after last season.
$8 million, I believe it was.
and he chose to stay. JJ, let's talk about injuries. Let's talk about the injuries at the quarterback position. Penn State lost theirs for the season a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, Nebraska, Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola right after Drew Aller. If you're in the Big Ten and your name starts with a D, I don't know. You better watch out.
What does that do to Nebraska's season?
It ruins it. I mean, they were going to win that game against USC probably. They lost it 21-16.
21-17.
Or 17.
They've lost 3 games with 3 to go. They still got UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa.
I mean, I don't think that they were ever a serious playoff contender, but whatever their season was going to be, it's not going to be. They're not going to win 9 games anymore. I mean, they have a true freshman from Compton, I think, that's going to be planned now. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, that's...
Okay.
I would say that derails their season pretty
What's your
handily.
thought on the running back from Michigan, Justin Hayes?
Justice Haynes?
Yeah, Justice Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
He had foot surgery. They're saying he might be back for the Ohio State game. I can't see it. What say you?
I mean, I can see it. I don't know. I think, Marshall's a good running back. I think this will, if, depending on how quickly he heals, if he's back for the Ohio State game, I think that'll be great news. He'll have the freshest legs of anybody there, and Ohio State won't have a lot of tape on him coming back. So, I think that he would be a much needed boost. But if their quarterback doesn't get better, Bryce Underwood doesn't, see the field a little bit better than he's been seeing it lately, it won't matter. They could have a million running backs come through, but yeah, he's been playing very bad ever since the Nebraska games.
I got one more thing I want to talk about on football, and then you can, if you have something you want to discuss, we can discuss that. Then I want to talk about a different sport, but football. Have you changed your mind about who should be the number 1 rated college team in the nation right now?
Who should be the number 1 college team in the nation?
Yeah.
Change my mind. Well, right now it's Ohio State's number 1.
And you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's between them, I think, and Texas A&M.
Man, what you doing with Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still thinking that they're Indiana. I'm taking them a little bit more serious than I've ever taken them before, but I still got question marks. I mean, they definitely dominated their opponents.
Last year they did it. This year they're doing it. I'm just curious to know what question mark you could have.
Yeah, I think they have the best quarterback in the Big Ten. There's a lot of talk about Julian Sand at Ohio State.
Just recently.
Yeah, recently. I think he's the Heisman favorite right now.
Maybe.
I do believe that's the case. I think Alabama's quarterback might be... I know he's in the top 4, but I think he might be second.
But your question, what are your question marks about Indiana? Because I'm thinking that they have to be the number 1 rated team right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great quarterback, an NFL quarterback. They have NFL receivers. They have defensive front that can get pressure. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the name on the front of their jersey still says Indiana. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not. That's
okay. Hypothetically, JJ. Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Indiana goes undefeated. Ohio goes undefeated. They go to the Big Ten championship game. What reason for either of those quarterbacks to play in that game?
Pride, competition, perfection.
Would you if you were coaching, would you have them both play
Yeah.
the whole game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I didn't, I wouldn't want to have to answer the boosters, especially the ones paying
to see the game
those specific salaries.
Okay.
Oh, like I wouldn't want to have to answer those questions as to why they didn't get play, especially if they lost that game, especially if that led to them not winning a champion. Yeah, so no, you don't do things like that because, yeah, you don't want people asking questions. What if?
Okay, even the loser of that game, JJ, still is not going to be a loser per se.
Yeah, I
But
mean, maybe.
if they lose a quarterback in that game,
You lost the opportunity to go undefeated, which I'm sure is something that's on their mind.
that's true. That's true. That's true. So AJ, I'm done with football. But what you got about football? What you got?
With all that said, there's been a lot of talk about how good of a job LSU is. Um, I honestly think that they'll end up hiring Kelvin Shepard, the current defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, former LSU
Ooh,
player.
you're the
Um,
second person to tell me that.
yeah, his name's been thrown around. Detroit Lions defense has looked pretty much as good as it did under Aaron Glenn. He has experience in the SEC. Kelvin Shepard, he's a young up and comer. Um, and they did say
You,
that they would let the interim AD Verge Osbury make the selection. So
that's what they say.
that's what they say. But
But JJ, okay, so I'm gonna look at that more serious because when I first heard that, I told this guy, I said, "Don't worry about it," because I just didn't think would happen. I should reconsider what you're telling me.
I think he's a serious candidate.
Okay.
And I think when you look at a school like LSU, you're not going to want to go after somebody that's gotten fired. You don't want to go after a retread. So that takes James Franklin off the table. That takes a lot of those guys off the table. Would you rather go after a defensive coordinator in the pros or a head coach at, say Tulane, like a John Summerall or a Brent Key at Georgia Tech? Would you rather go a head coach at a smaller school or
You
an
know,
assistant coach in the big leagues?
Georgia Tech is a school we haven't talked about.
Well, they're not in
But
that Big Ten or the SEC.
I know, but you know what? I think I would. And if they beat Georgia the last game of the season, you're going to hear a lot more about Georgia Tech and their coach.
Yeah, Brent Key. Yeah, you will absolutely. I mean, they're doing things that they haven't done since the '60s. So
Okay. Well, JJ, you got more football?
no, I think we've covered everything that we need to regarding football. We haven't previewed any of the games this week, but we
No,
can do
we
that
didn't.
later. We can do that later.
Well, my two teams, one from the SEC and one from the Big Ten, they're not playing this coming Saturday. Neither Arkansas nor Michigan State will be playing Saturday.
Well,
But,
they won't be losing.
but, but,
Can't
but,
lose. Can't play. Don't play. Don't lose.
but, they
But
are playing in basketball.
I think you might be there.
And they are playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas coming to the Breslin Center, Calipari against Tom Izzo. How you like that game,
It's a
JJ?
guaranteed loss. One of them gotta lose. I like that game a lot for Arkansas.
How you like for Michigan State?
Not as well. Not as much.
Why not?
Because they gotta play Arkansas.
Okay, okay. Anyway, you and I,
Who's gonna guard Darius Acuff?
that's the $1 million question.
Hmm.
And Trevin Brazil. But
fifth year senior.
Michigan State got some answers.
Well, we will have to see about that one.
I'm looking forward to it, JJ. I would get in more into it, but I just want to wait and see it. I'm about ready to say, I'm not saying this for football purposes, but for basketball purposes. WPS. Woo Pig Suey.
Well, it starts tonight. The defending champs are playing Arizona. Florida plays Arizona.
That's true.
It's exciting times. College basketball's here.
Arkansas is playing Southern, I believe.
Yeah, we had a great World Series. One of the best Game
man.
7s I've ever seen.
One of the best series I've ever seen. They put baseball back on the map.
It had 10 million viewers more than previous. Yeah, it was a great World Series.
Wow.
So yeah, now we moving on from baseball. It's completely in the rear view mirror.
Yes, sir.
Basketball is upcoming. We still have football in the foreground, but now we have a little bit of basketball on the table as well. It's a great time of year.
It is. WPS. Woo Pig Suey. Bam. Who they?
No.